Thanks everyone for joining to this webinar with Make and Noah, where we're going to talk about, of course, automation, AI as well, but specifically about the topic of how to use that in order to optimize your customer feedback. So let's quickly look at the agenda for today. So very quick round of introduction, who is Make, who is Noah, for everyone who doesn't know. And then we're jumping into the use case right away about customer feedback. We're going to see a live demo as well. And our Make partners of Noah are also going to share some best practices around how to use Make. And of course, we're going to have a quick wrap up, next steps, and a Q&A in the end. And that brings us directly to a quick meeting hygiene. So please mute yourself, which I think most of you have done already. We will be collecting your questions. So please use the Q&A function. And then at the end, we're going to go through them. And with that, I would say we're going to lean back and enjoy. Not myself, because I'm going to give you a quick overview about Make first. For anyone who is not familiar with Make yet, Make is our visual automation platform that allows especially startups, but literally any business to create, build, automate tasks, entire workflows without having to code. So the way it works is on the left-hand side, you got apps that you're connecting. You're also including AI in your workflows, and like that, automate your business processes. Overall, over 100,000 customers are using Make already. Some of them listed below, so some nice startup logos and I think success stories of how Make has been used in action. But let's move on, because one important aspect that we are focusing on as a company is that we really want to empower everyone who's got this innovative spirit in order to bring their ideas to life. And this is, I think, becoming even more important when we think about how in the age of AI, our, let's say, business environment is evolving. Can we go to the next slide? And here, I just want to put out there some interesting quotes that I came across recently from Kevin Scott, CEO of Microsoft, or Sam Altman. What they are talking about is this idea of a one-person billion software unicorn. I think it's quite interesting because with the help of tools like Make, like other no-code tools as well, when using wisely, it really enables you to build quite a lot without all the resources, specifically also without all the people required for it. So, of course, we are in the infant days about that. So let's have a look and take the first steps and see how that could be working. And this is also, I think, where it's quite important that when we think about AI, the way that this is really brought to action and say the power of an AI unleashed is when it's being made part of your business processes. So this is how we're going to see how AI and automation work hand in hand quite nicely. And especially, let's look at the next slide. When we think about, I mentioned earlier that especially for companies growing, so like startups, one important aspect, no matter in which stage of your life cycle you are, no matter if it's in the beginning where you want to find a solution to a problem, when you're building your MVP, when you're growing, expanding, or maybe even in the exit, one common denominator across all of those spaces is to be close to your customer. Because they are, in essence, the backbone of and the reason why your company exists. And you can see a lot of different processes listed over here that are crucial in the respective phases. One that is probably the most important one is getting your feedback for your customers and getting that, collecting that in a structured way as you're interacting with them, as you're building your business processes. And I'm super happy that we got our partner, Noah, over here today in the call, who are going to show how you can set up an automated customer feedback collection. So with that, I hand over to Benedict to give us a quick intro about Noah.
Yes, thank you so much, Bertram. Yeah, thank you so much for the introduction. And yeah, we're so happy to be here today. And yeah, let me start by giving you a quick introduction about Noah, like you said, and also about myself. So Noah was founded in 2023, and shortly after, we became an official partner of Make. We are a process automation consultancy, and as such, we use a wide range of different low-code and no-code tools for our services. However, Make is almost always at the heart of the solutions that we provide to our clients. Our core focus areas in which we are true specialists in providing value to our customers are the automation of operations management, customer service, and sales and marketing processes. I myself am one of the 3 co-founders of Noah, and I'm our internal lead for Make implementations. And before founding Noah, I gained experience as a business automation manager at Fin.auto. You saw the logo before on the first slide. Fin is a quite successful scale-up based also here in Munich, selling car subscriptions. And Fin is still today the company with the largest usage of Make worldwide. And they managed to grow from the ground up to more than 100 million euros in ARR in less than 4 years. And such a rapid, fast growth wouldn't have been possible without Make. And this is exactly the reason why we founded Noah, because we witnessed firsthand how powerful and positive the impact of Make can be for a company like Fin. And we are convinced that every company should be using Make to streamline and automate their processes. And with that, let's just jump right into the main focus of today's webinar, our use case for automating the collection and the analysis of customer feedback. And you probably all know this kind of situation in your companies when you have received negative feedback or a negative review from one of your customers, and you or your team haven't handled it quickly enough because it was forgotten or maybe overlooked among other tasks. And today we want to showcase a solution to you that uses AI-enhanced automation created with Make, which will prevent such oversights from happening in the future. The use case for our demo is the following. Once a customer has completed our onboarding process here at Noah, we want to automatically send out a customer review survey, and we aim to automatically analyze the results of these surveys. In case we receive a bad review, we want to immediately alert customer care and provide them with concrete follow-up instructions. And in addition, we also aim to regularly and automatically calculate the Net Promoter Score based on all the customer reviews we have received. And we also want to automatically share the results of these calculations with customer care over the appropriate channels. And to demo and to automate this process, we will connect the following tools with Make. First, we have Pipedrive, which is our CRM. Second, we have Delighted as our go-to tool to create and to send out customer surveys. Then we have the OpenAI API to analyze the feedback after we collected the survey results. And last but not least, we have Slack to share the results with customers. Before we dive into Make and into our live demo, however, let's have a quick look at the structure of our Make scenarios that we use to automate these processes. We will use a total of 3 scenarios. The first one will be triggered by a Pipedrive webhook call when a given customer is moved to the stage onboarding completed in our CRM pipeline. And this scenario will then be used to extract all the required information about this customer from Pipedrive and to trigger the sending out of our customer survey via Delighted. The second scenario will be triggered by a webhook call from Delighted every time a customer has completed a survey. And within this scenario, the feedback of the customer will be analyzed automatically and customer care will be informed about the new review via a Slack message in a dedicated channel. And last but not least, we have a time-triggered scenario that every time we trigger it, calculates our current Net Promoter Score based on all reviews that we have received at that point. And the results of this calculation will also be posted in our dedicated Slack channel. And with this overview, let's just jump right into our live demo. And to do this, I will start sharing a different tab in my screen. And we will start off in Pipedrive with our example pipeline here. And as you can see, we have quite a lot of deals here in the stage signed. And as explained before, the idea of this use case is that every time a signed customer has completed the onboarding, we want to automatically send out a customer satisfaction survey using Make. And in order to do that, we need to let Make know whenever an onboarding process has been completed in order to trigger our dedicated scenario. And we do this via a webhook call, as I have explained here earlier on this slide. And we do this more specifically by creating a small automation within Pipedrive. And to show you this Pipedrive native automation, I will go here into the automation hub of Pipedrive, and I will open the webhook call to Make. And as you can see, this automation is really quite an easy one. So every time a deal in our pipeline is updated and the stage is changed to onboarding completed, a webhook call will be made to Make, and the deal ID of the deal in question will be forwarded as a payload in the body of this API call. So now that you have seen the setup here in Pipedrive, let's jump right into Make, and I will show you our first scenario. You should be able to see it now. And as you can see, it's quite a small one. So we have 3 modules on our main route here. The first one, as explained, is a webhook that receives the webhook call from Pipedrive. And then we're using the Pipedrive deal ID that is forwarded with this webhook call here in the second scenario, in the second module, to get all the important information about this deal. And in this case, what we need to send out our survey with Delighted is the email of our associated contact in Pipedrive and their name. So as I have explained now the setup here with this first scenario, let's see it in action. And to do that, I'm actually gonna start split screening or like share my screen as a split screen. You should be able to see now our our pipeline here in Pipedrive, and you should be also able to see now our make scenario. And yeah, let's have a look here at the deal velocity networks that's currently in the stage signed. And as you can see, I've added myself here as the associated contact. And yeah, I'm going to move this now into onboarding completed. And with this, our small Pipedrive automation is triggered, and it should be calling our webhook here in make or any second. You can see it has already been called. So what happened now is like we have triggered this make scenario, this first make scenario, and we have already sent out our customer review survey via Delighted. And this, since I am the associated contact here in this deal for Velocity Networks, I'm the one who has actually received this demo. And to show you this, I'm showing you my inbox here right now. And as you can see, I've just received an email at 5:12 p.m. here German time. And yeah, Noah is asking me now about my experience with the onboarding and with the onboarding process. And of course, since I'm a little bit biased, I'm going to rate them with a 10. And as you can see, I also have the chance now to submit a little comment. I will do that right now. But before I hit submit, however, I will share with you our dedicated feedback Slack channel where all our customer feedback is going to go in. And I hit submit now. And after a couple of seconds of processing, we should see a Slack message in here. It already has arrived now with the most important information about this feedback. So you can see the person who has provided us this feedback, in this case myself, their score as well as their comment is shared here in the Slack channel. And the thing that I like the best here is that we're also able to automatically link the associated deal in Pipedrive. And if I open the deal, you should be able to see that the review comment and the review score has already been added automatically here as a custom variable in Pipedrive. Pretty cool, huh? So you're probably wondering now how did we do that? And of course, the answer is with a second make scenario. As you remember, that's the one that's called via Delighted webhook. So let's jump right into the scenario to explain it to you. And as you can see, this one is a little bit bigger than the first one. And yeah, I will just guide you through it really quickly about guide you through the most important modules of it. So again, our first module is a webhook, this time a Delighted webhook that is called every time a customer submits the survey we have sent out to them. And so we're going to receive here the score as well as the comment the customer has provided us with. And further down the scenario stream here, we actually save this comment in a dedicated data store. And that's going to be important later on in the webinar, because as you remember, we also want to calculate the net promoter score based on all the reviews we have received. And if you look further down the stream of the scenario here, you can see we have different routes to share different kind of feedbacks in our Slack channel with the Slack modules. So we have one route for our promoters. So for our customers that have scored our onboarding process with a 9 or 10, one for our passives. So our clients that have scored us with a 7 or an 8, and then one for our detractors. So the clients that have rated our onboarding experience with 6 or less. And if we are honest, as founders or as customer care representatives, these are the reviews that we care the most about. So the negative ones are the ones where we want to alert our stakeholders in customer care as fast as possible, and we want to equip them with all things necessary so that they can handle this issue as fast and as best as possible. And to consider this, we have actually added to this last route a little gimmick, which is an OpenAI module. So what we're basically doing is we're prompting ChatGPT and providing it with the feedback score, the feedback message, as well as the name of the customer, and prompt it to write us a small but tailored suggestion or draft for an outreach to this customer that has basically complained about our onboarding process. So this is a perfect starting point for the customer care agent that is assigned to this to actually just take this template and start reaching out to the customer that has complained about our onboarding process. So of course, it's nice to talk the talk, but it's also important to walk the walk. So of course, I want to demonstrate this automation to you as well. And to do that, I need your help. So we want to make this webinar a little bit more interactive. And for this, we're gonna share a link here in our chat that enables you to take part in this Delighted survey that we have set up. And in the meantime, I will start sharing here our Slack channel again. And you should seeing that right now. And as soon as the link is shared, you can start participating if you want and provide us with feedback. So you can, of course, give us positive feedback, and that would be nice, of course, but even more interesting would be if you would give us negative feedback, so a score of 6 and below, and then provide us with a meaningful comment. So as you can see, your feedback is coming in here live now. As you can see, we already get the first one, and thanks a lot for giving us negative feedback, because that's exactly the use case we want to show to you right now. So as you can see, not only the comment and the score has been shared right now, but there's also a perfectly tailored suggestion for an answer or for an outreach to this customer. So you can see in this case, someone complained about the fact that our onboarding process has been a little bit too quick and too dense. And you can see we actually addressing this here in this customized outreach by saying, okay, we're sorry to hear it felt rushed and dense. Okay, let's give it a little bit more time for more people to participate in this. I will take a small sip of water in the meantime. And yeah, you guys, please, if you're in this call, it takes 30 seconds. Just feel free to participate and just rate us and give us feedback. And then we can continue with this live demo. Okay, we have someone who actually submitted something, but apparently it's not populating in the Slack channel. It's a very good question. Okay, now there should be one. We have one negative score with 5. Maybe it took a little while for Make to process it. Let's wait a little bit longer for these reviews to start pouring in. Of course, it should be working. My co-founder Pius, who's also here in this call, was having a look at the Make scenario right now. And it should be showing here any second. Yeah, it should be coming. Okay, that's of course a bit unfortunate that this takes a little while now. It should of course be populating right away. At least we have 2 negative ones here for now. The other ones I hope are still in processing with Make. Maybe Pius, you can give us a little update here. Yeah, it looks like it is running. Wait maybe 1 more minute and see if the feedback is coming in. Okay, it seems like there's a little hiccup here, but I would say let's just wait and see if it's shown or not. Seems like there's a little hiccup here with the Make scenario, but I think we're gonna be fine. Let's maybe just give it a couple of more seconds, and I will start explaining our third scenario. So if we come back here to our presentation and our slide, you already remember, you still remember this slide here that you should be able to see now. And you can see that our third scenario that we want to show it to you now is that we want to have a time-triggered NPS calculation. So every time, so based on all the feedback that you guys have provided us, hopefully when it will be processed, we're gonna be calculating our Net Promoter Score in real time. And we're gonna be using our third scenario. And let me show you that one here as well. So as you can see, the third scenario is starting with a data store. So all the feedback we have received from you, hopefully, should be in that data store. Probably it's still processing. So yeah, we start with getting your reviews in the data store, and then we calculate your NPS score, and then we post the NPS score to Slack as well. So let's have a look in our data store and see if it has arrived. Of course, it should actually be happening in real time. And as you can see, at least here, it seems like that there's your feedback in here. So we see we got quite a lot of detractors here. We got also some promoters. So thanks a lot for participating, guys. So at least here, your feedback is in the data store. And I will share our Slack channel once again. And oh yeah, sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. It seems like it was a mistake on my side. So it seems like my browser didn't actually go down. I'm so sorry, that's a bit embarrassing. So as you can see, but all your feedback has arrived here actually already a couple of minutes ago. So it was not a technical issue. So yeah.
Now it comes in. a big
it's
scale
always
and
like
very negative.
yeah, usually is it's a layer 8 problem. So usually the problem is in front of the screen, like this time. So super sorry guys that you didn't see it populating, but as you can see, all your feedback has arrived and all your feedback is saved here in our data store. And based on this, I will trigger our third scenario now and to calculate the Net Promoter Score. And as you can see, probably because my mistake, our feedback is quite negative. So our overall Net Promoter Score is -44. You probably expected that. And as you can see, there's a small message here with our onboarding process definitely needs improving. Let's call an emergency meeting ASAP. So you see there's this tailored message here as well. Okay, perfect. So after this little hiccup, everything worked perfectly fine in the end. Thanks a lot for participating again. And with that, we're coming to the end of the live demo, and we will actually jump back into our slides now. Just give me 1 second for arranging my screen here. You should be able to see my slides again now. And yeah, now we're ready to continue with the rest of the presentation. So yeah, so thanks a lot and for participating, like I said. And after demonstrating, yeah, with this concrete use case, the power of Make firsthand, if there's not an issue in front of the screen, we would like to share some general best practices for working with Make with you that will also help you when you use Make in your own company. So yeah, the first best practice we would like to share is regarding structure and organization of your scenarios. So when you start out with Make, it can be quite tempting to, like to just jumpstart with building your first scenarios without much thought about how you structure and organize them. And right at the beginning, when you start with your journey with Make, that's probably what you should do, since this is how you learn, of course. But at some point, you need to start structuring your scenarios in order to be able to use Make in a more robust and scalable way. And one of the most important principles in order to achieve this is scenario modularization. So what I concretely mean by that is that instead of building one huge scenario to automate one of your processes, you should split it up and have one dedicated scenario per functionality. And this will provide you with a couple of advantages. The first one being that modularized scenarios are easier to monitor, maintain, and modify. The second one is they're easier to understand. And the third one is they're leaner and reduce the risk of duplication. The next point we want to have a look at is operations efficiency. So as all of you know, Make is charging its customers based on the amounts of operations used. And this means that as soon as you begin to use Make on a scalable level and more broadly within your company, operations efficiency should be something that is at the top of your mind. And so here are 3 principles that you can apply that work quite well for us here at NOAA in order to work more operations efficient with Make. The first one is test only what is needed when you build and debug your scenarios. So you can achieve this, for example, by unlinking modules from your scenario that are not relevant for your current test run, or by disabling whole routes after routers in your scenarios if you currently do not need them. And a second thing is what you can do is like to filter data entries early. So for example, if you don't need all the bundles that are returned by your first module, filter right at the source and you to save operations. And one important tip or advice to make your life easier when you work with filters is to use inline functions within filters. And this usage of inline functions will prevent your filters from becoming too large, especially in more complex scenarios, and will also make it easier for you to copy your filters to other routes, for example. And third, aggregate whenever possible. So use data structures like JSONs or arrays to aggregate your data, and then perform key actions, such as filtering, for example, using dedicated array formulas on these data structures. And this approach will save you a ton of operations as well. And yeah, after modularization and operations efficiency, scenario documentation is the third best practice that we want to focus on today. And since Make scenarios are typically adjusted and optimized on a regular basis, it can become quite complex and time-consuming to create the documentation and to keep it up to date. And in the end, every Make user or company has, of course, to find their own way what works best for them to create scenario documentation. However, we would like to share the following principles with you that are working quite well for us. So what we always recommend is that you document at the process level, meaning that you should only include a high-level description of the automated process in your dedicated documentation tool, like, for example, Notion. And we do not recommend that you explain each scenario in detail at this level. Instead, it is sufficient that you link all relevant scenarios, including their external triggers, as well as their defined inputs and their desired outputs. And when considering the documentation of single scenarios, the following tips will make your life easier. So first, we recommend that you give each model a meaningful name explaining its purpose. Second, we suggest that you label different routes after routers, as well as all filters in your scenarios. And third, we recommend to add a note to the first module of each scenario containing the most important information about it. And with that, we come already to the last part of our webinar presentation, a short summary of what we have learned today, as well as a quick outlook on what's to come after this webinar. Let's start with the summary and the 3 key points we have learned from Bertram's intro and from my live demo. So first, we have learned that automating with Make empowers even non-technical founders or employees to set up processes quickly. Then second, as we have seen, Make can be a very powerful tool for automating the collection and processing of customer feedback, if someone knows how to scroll in Slack. And third, integrating AI tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT is straightforward with Make. And additionally, we have learned that when working with Make, you should use modularization when automating large processes in order to make your scenarios easier to understand and better maintainable. Moreover, to boost your operations efficiency, you should filter early, you should aggregate after every iteration, and you should test only what is really required. And last but not least, in order to make the documentation of your scenarios easier to create, understand, and maintain, you should document the functionality of your scenarios on a process level. To conclude this presentation, let's have a quick look on the next steps that we have in store for you. So after this webinar, you will receive an email with the recording of it, and along with it, an extended version of our best practices. So this extended version will include an even more practical advice for your daily work with Make. You can also request the blueprints of the Make scenarios that we have shown you today during the live demo, and you can modify them to use them in your own organization. To do that, just send us an email to make@noah.tech, and we will be happy to help you to set up the shown scenarios for your own company. And third, if you like what you've seen today and want to start automating your processes using Make right away, feel free to book a free consultation with us at Noah via the Calendly link displayed here on the slide. And we will be more than happy to help you to start your journey with Make or to assist you if you're stuck with any specific issue in automating your processes. So yeah, I've seen there's already quite something, the chat here is already quite busy. And yeah, as promised at the beginning, feel free to shoot us now your questions. And I've seen Bertram and Pius, there's already been some here. Have you already started answering them? Or are there any particular questions that you would like make sense for us to share here in the plenum?
Yes, I mean, let's look through it.
Yeah.
And directly answer them over here. So what I can see is the first one from Tim. If it works, well, in the end it did. It would be cool that you show the feedback directly in Slack. Do you know if you need any paid features for this, or can you do that on the regular plans? But you have been setting up the scenario, but by the looks of it, it was all like the regular visual builder and the apps, right?
Yeah, I think Tim posted that before I actually figured out that I didn't scroll in Slack. So as hopefully this question was answered now as Tim saw, like if you know how to use Slack, the feedback you receive via Delighted or any other form you connect with Slack is immediately posted to Slack, and you don't need any other paid feature for it. You only need the things you have seen during the live demo. So you only need Make, of course. And if you want to create an answer suggestion with OpenAI, of course, you need an API account for OpenAI to connect to ChatGPT, basically. But that's it. So you don't need any other paid features here. And yeah, I hope that answers the question, Tim.
But I think you mentioned a very important point here, Benedict, because sometimes there are tools that are restricting API access and only would allow that on a paid plan, like OpenAI, for example. But this is more and more becoming open. And that has always been the principle from Make side as well, that you can use APIs freely, and you can also use Make via API if you want, so that there's an open environment. But bear in mind, some of the tools might have restrictions there, but from a Make side, there is none.
Yes, exactly.
Does Noah provide blueprints as a service so that a startup can use some base blueprints as a learning tool?
So we don't have any courses yet ready with blueprints as a service, but like I said, feel definitely free to reach out to us to receive the blueprints of today's demo, and also feel free to book a call with us. We're very happy to jump in a call with you and to help you set up the scenarios. Or we're also very happy to help you set up any other scenarios if you have any small processes in your company which you want to start automating. We're very happy to help you here and to get started with Make.
And there is one more. It would be great to see a webinar on how to work with REST API calls. They seem to be very inefficient in comparison to native application calls. Maybe there is a better way to handle them. Yeah, what do you think, Benedict?
So I would say, of course, it takes some while to get used to working with REST API calls. It's the same for everyone who's not a full-fledged developer and starts working with Make. But I wouldn't say necessarily they're less efficient. So I think if you know how to set them up, they're working very well. And the great thing about Make, like you explained at the beginning, Bertram, I think it was more than 1,600 native applications are already included in Make. So you don't actually need to configure the whole API call to connect to any other program or any other software or any other tool. You just can use the pre-built modules, which are a lot easier to use. So you don't actually need to understand the whole concept of REST APIs to get started with Make. But of course, it would be a very interesting topic for a follow-on webinar for sure. Yes. Are there any other questions?
I didn't see any additional questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Does anyone have more questions for us, for Make, for Noah? Okay, let's see. Doesn't look like it. Okay. You will be emailing out Benedict's contact information. So yeah, we're gonna follow up with the slides, with the recording as well, and also with our contact information. So like this, you can get in touch with Noah right away. And like that would also be really my advice from my side. Even though Make is let's say comparably easy to use, for some of the things it can really accelerate your learning journey and your outcome achievement with Make when getting in touch with the experts. And the guys from Noah are experts, especially when they are refreshing their browser. Sorry, Benedict, small,
yeah.
small from side. No, I think great offer for this half-hour consultation. So make use of it, guys. It will for sure be beneficial for you.
Yes, and you can always contact us at make@noah.tech. And yeah, like you said, Bertram, you can also you guys also share an email afterwards to all participants with my contact information or our contact information. I saw that there's one last question here. So how much does the usage of ChatGPT and of the scenarios cost? So of course it's depending a little bit on the kind of plan you're having with Make, but I think on average I would say for the cloud plans of Make, you pay in between 0.1 and 0.2 cents per operation. And as we have seen, so for the first two scenarios, we have 3 operations in the first scenario and I think about 8 in the second one. So for each review you send out, or for each server you send out, and each review you receive, you need about like 10 to 11 operations, which is about 1 cent. And then regarding the OpenAI cost for the OpenAI API, I think the prompt we've used here was about 0.1, 0.2 cents. So really quite cheap.
Yeah, so typically, I mean, we're using OpenAI a lot internally, and we do this in one of the very lowest plans. So this is, let's say, really not eating up a lot. And you can, of course, restrict also in the OpenAI module how many tokens you want to be used within the execution of the OpenAI API.
Yes, perfectly. Okay, are there any more questions I have overlooked maybe?
All right, there was one question about an app that we are apparently missing, Ninja One. I'm not familiar with this app, but in case you would be missing an app, first of all, have a look at Make directly and search for that app. Sometimes there are also apps that have been built by our community that you can use as well. And if not, just go ahead and request the app to be built. And when sufficient people are requesting it, then it's of course also something that will be built by our app development team. All right, and here's also the link for the free consultation. Super. All right. Then I would say, let's wrap it up. I would say really thanks to everyone for joining, and a special thanks to Benedict and Pius from Noah. And yeah, guys, I really hope you enjoy the consultation with them. And looking forward to see many great things being built, especially around customer feedback with Make.
Thank you so much for having us, Bertram, and thank you everyone for joining. Talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you all.
All right.
Bye-bye.